the network service of the NTA. To begin our conversation on gains of President Tinubu's visit to the United Kingdom, let's take this background report, and it was put together by correspondent Timothy Yusuf.
It is the belief of many that President Bola Tinubu's historic state visit to the UK has yielded several significant gains for Nigeria. Analysts outlined some key outcomes of the visit, to include a £746 million financing deal. Here, a major agreement was signed for the refurbishment of Lagos Port Complex and Tinkan Island Port, boosting Nigeria's maritime infrastructure. Another key outcome is enhanced trade and investment partnership. This is against the backdrop that the visit strengthened economic ties, with Nigeria and the UK agreeing to deepen cooperation in trade, investment and security. Migration agreement is another key outcome, with a new pact to facilitate the return of failed Nigerian asylum seekers and convicted offenders. Security cooperation is another gain outlined by analysts. Discussions focused on strengthening collaboration to address regional instability and terrorism. In the area of cultural exchange, analysts said the outcome of the visit highlighted Nigeria's creative industry and cultural contributions to the UK. The state visit, the first by a Nigerian leader in 37 years, has reinforced Nigeria's global standing and opened doors for economic growth and development. Would you like to know more about the implications of these agreements or Tinubu's domestic agenda? Let's now join our guest in the studio for more.
Thank you very much, Timothy Yusuf, for that background report. And to kickstart our conversation this morning, we already have some of our guests. And here in the studio, we have Dr. Adoyi Matthew Omale, an international affairs analyst. Dr. Omale, it's good to have you again join us for this conversation.
Good morning, and I'm happy to be on Good Morning Nigeria.
Also joining us via Zoom from Ibadan is Ambassador Bolaji Akiremi, retired, a Nigerian diplomat and former director, Reforms and Innovation Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Dr. Akiremi, it's good to have you join us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right, perhaps we'll begin with the ambassador. It's good to see you, even though you are not joining us from the studio this time. From a diplomatic standpoint, how successful would you say this visit of President is?
Yeah, thank you, but there are a lot of background noise in the studio. That is really disturbing, I think.
From a diplomatic standpoint, how successful would you say the president's visit to the UK is?
Oh, thank you so much. The president's visit, state visit, was extremely successful. As I've always maintained, it's a very symbolic, strategic, and relevant visit, and very timely. It was well planned, and the president was well received. As you know, the visit was in two sectors, or in two main areas. First was the royal welcome by the King Charles III and his queen, Camilla. They were ceremonial, and they went all out. They rolled out the drums. Their firstborn was involved with his wife, Willie, who came to first greet the president upon his arrival with his own wife and with the First Lady, Her Excellency, Distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu. So the first day of the visit was dedicated to this ceremonial with a banquet throne. That is not ordinary, it's not throne for commoners. The old England, the old Britain stood still. Television everywhere was agog. Electronic everywhere was well reported. As you know, that was happening after 37 years that there has been no state visit from Nigeria to United Kingdom. And after the first day, which was mainly ceremonial with the king, was what we can call the official or governmental at 10 Downing Street in Westminster, where the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Excellency Stamau, received Mr. President. And here were where the signs and the deals were made. A lot of work had gone underground, and the high mark of it or high point of it was the signing of those agreements. As you have rightly catalogued and listed them, it included migration, security and counter, cyber security, and against terrorism. But more than anything was the enhanced investment and trade, as well as economic cooperation. As you know, Nigeria signed the economic or trade deal with United Kingdom 2 years ago. And this has now been confirmed with Mr. President's signature. So this is a very high level confirmation of our relationship and upscaling our relationship to the highest possible level. As you know, energy was involved in this matter. Energy crisis in Europe, and for Nigeria, assistance in terms of gas and renewable energy. So these really gave Mr. President opportunity to also tell the whole world about the reforms that he has embarked on since day one when he came to power. No one will hear of the King of England receiving another president in the Western world that will not pay attention to it. London is the financial capital. Just like Lagos, Mr. President is making Lagos now to become a financial hub. So really, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was on the global stage. He was on the global stage. He was at the center of it all. And as we know, this was happening at a very critical time when the US-Israel-Iran war was going on. And that really toned down the negativity that was going on around the world. Something positive was happening to Nigeria, while something negative was happening somewhere. So we really need to say kudos to Mr. President for representing us so well and his team. All the ministers and governors were all involved. There were a lot of deals that went on, a lot of agreements that were signed, particularly on migration. And I thank the presidency for the clarification that they have made on the issue of migration. A lot of rumor mongers and those who want to misconstrue facts were trying to misrepresent what happened. But it is very clear that it's a step ahead. I just know that this is the beginning of greater things to come. And so by all standards, by all indication, Mr. President's visit to United Kingdom was a huge success. And as you know, Nigerians came out in their large number to welcome him. There were no negative or dissenting voices on the street of London. And I was on ground myself to see it and to contribute my own quota. Different business forum, economic forum were held by PEBEC, by Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, by different, Commonwealth associations, had different, and Nigerian participated in their large number. I mean, Nigerian diaspora, who are already on ground. To crown it off, Mr. President spoke to the diaspora, and they all pledged their commitment. And that means a lot of remittances will now be coming in. And Mr. President has also promised them that he will not, leave them. Their desires will be considered So many diaspora will be willing to come to make their own contribution to development in Nigeria. I congratulate the King Charles III and his wife, Queen Camilla. I congratulate the President, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and his beautiful, amiable wife, our First Lady, Senator Luremi Tinubu. And I congratulate Nigeria above all. As you know, we've had this relationship with the United Kingdom over century that translated from pre-colonial to colonial. And now we are in the era of Commonwealth where we are equal. So Nigeria is on the table, not in the menu. No longer is Nigeria in the menu. And you can find out with a lot of our business community who came in their large number. I was very impressed. As you know, that a lot of Nigerian banks are already operating in the United Kingdom. Talk about First Bank, talk about Zenith Bank, talk about UBA, talk about Access Bank. They are all operating from the United Kingdom. Now, Mr. President has put a stamp of authority that Nigeria is not just open for business, Nigeria is ready to lead. And so we congratulate ourselves and we look forward for more. So by my own assessment, this is one state visit that supersedes our expectation.
Ambassador, is a state visit that supersedes our expectation. Nigeria is no longer on the menu, but on the table. Thank you so much for your opening shots there. We'll come back to you later in the course of this discussion. Let's come back to the studio now, where we have Dr. O'Malley. Dr. O'Malley, we began this discussion last week, and we looked at the different aspects of this historic visit and the impact, especially the global impact concerning Nigeria bilateral relationship. Let's look at, do you see this as a shift in Nigeria's foreign policy direction or a continuation of existing strategies?
Well, I think it's a continuation. It's a continuation because, as you heard Ambassador Aderemi stated just now, we have had very century-long relationship with the British. And it's a continuation because when this type of high-level personal diplomacy at the level of the leadership of both countries, when it takes place, it sends a clear message that Nigeria and Britain are interested in continuing their age-long relationship, which predates pre-colonial to colonial and then post-colonial era. Especially in this type of situation where globalization has taken root. I continue to maintain that both countries have a lot to share in common. They have a lot to do together, and it's only nice that this relationship is being oiled, is being nurtured, is being enhanced by both leadership. I am particularly very, very impressed, very, very proud the way our president was hosted, the red carpet, the gun salute, the parade, the splendor, the grandeur. So what it brings to a country is that it gives a lot of confidence. It sends clear message about the position of Nigeria within the international arena and also within as a major power player within the African continent. I think the visit underscored that very, very well. And if you look at reviews after the visit from in the international media, it shows that the recognition that was accorded Nigeria was acclaimed worldwide, and it was a master stroke by the presidency and those that facilitated this visit. So it is to build on existing relationship.
Okay. So in your own estimation, would you say that this visit has repositioned Nigeria in the UK's global foreign policy priorities?
Certainly. Nigeria has consistently been a priority to the British because of our long-standing relationship. Don't forget that Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, one of the largest economy in Africa, endowed with abundant natural resources, rare earths, minerals, oil resources, gas, and so on. And so we remain a very, very strategic country, not only to Britain, but to the entire the Western world because of that. And then we are the largest, most populated black nation with vast market. You could see how some British companies cashing on this visit. The Ovaltine company that signed almost a 24 million pounds deal to set up their manufacturing firm in Nigeria. It was one of the fallout of this visit, and you can imagine the impact of that deal alone we have in terms of job creation, in terms of enhancing Nigerian manufacturing hub in Lagos.
Are we ready though? Power, for instance, a major subject.
Yes, power is critical, but you can see, especially renewable energy. Power is critical, but a lot of people are moving towards other sources of energy, and that is where we need synergy with the international community, especially with the British. We need to exploit alternative sources of energy, right from the normal hydro power stations, from even the gas stations and so on, so that we can leverage on solar and other wind and other forms of energy that are clean and healthy. And I think this is where we will need the technology and expertise of the British. And I'm very confident that with this type of high-level diplomatic engagement, we will definitely benefit from the British as regards energy and so on. But it's not just energy. If you look at the maritime sector, the British have a very good maritime naval fleet, and with the challenges we have in the Gulf of Guinea, the issue of piracy, the issue of oil theft on the high sea, leveraging on this type of visit, we can tap from their technology, we can tap from their intelligence to see how the Gulf of Guinea can become safe and how we can also mitigate this issue of oil theft and protection of our pipelines. These are very critical to the survival of the Nigerian economy, because government has been very, very worried with the activities that are happening on our coastal way, despite contracts that were awarded to some companies to police these areas. The issue of theft continues to still be a critical issue in our oil sector.
Okay.
So we need the expertise of the British. We need to continue to police our maritime space. And I think this is one of the security issues that this visit was able to exploit.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. O'Malley. A lot of MOUs were signed, and we're going to talk more about that. But let's get back to Ambassador Akinremi now. Let's look at the impact of this historic visit on global, the standing of Nigeria. What does this visit signal about the Nigeria's global standing and diplomatic influence, globally? Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, I have just done that. This has a lot of significance for Nigeria's standing in the global arena. As you know, the royals or the British don't just open up to receive everybody. And for 37 years, there has been no such visit from Nigeria. It means certain things have been achieved locally. Number one, Nigeria is now seen by the whole world as a stable democratic government and democratic country. Nigeria is now confirmed as the largest democracy in Africa. And all that follows it is that there is a stable economy, that investors' confidence have been built over the years, and they can confidently bring their investment to Nigeria. In the eye of the world, you reach a certain stage before certain investment can be committed into your economy. And the way to show is by exchange of official visits. I must commend the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of State, Foreign Affairs, Nigeria, for a hard work. It shows that the ministry is also functioning properly to have coordinated this visit. I commend the High Commissioner of the United Kingdom to Nigeria also, who have packaged this. This kind of visit takes a lot of energy and long time to plan. And because of its implication, that's why a lot goes into it. You can imagine for those 2 days, the CNN, the BBC, the Chinese television, France, network globally were all connected, to Windsor, because they know that one of them is receiving someone from Africa. So Nigeria is not just of age now, but Nigeria has been accepted as a global power. Nigeria has been accepted as a leader in Africa. Nigeria has been accepted as a stable economy. Nigeria has been accepted as a trustworthy partner. Nigeria has been accepted as a place that investors can come. So these are the indications, these are the implications and the significance of this visit. It's not just a jamboree. It's not just friends just coming to meet each other. It's sending signal to the whole world. It's sending signal to our partners globally. And you will see that immediately after that visit, many other Western countries will start coming to Nigeria and they will start inviting our president. And what that means is that a common man in Nigeria will begin to feel the impact, because nothing goes for nothing. If you don't transact business, if you don't exchange or be in partnership with the other part of the world, you will just be in the world of Robinson Crusoe. And that does not exist. There is no nation that is an island to itself. So this speaks a lot. It is the highest level of official visit, and it sends a lot of signal that Nigeria now belongs to the nation that are making effort to, bring peace to the whole world, and also to improve the standard of living of its people. So significance, and we'll begin to see it even in our own economy. Not just the investment that we have been listed, but a lot that are consequential that will be happening. Thank you.
We have joining us Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. A pleasure to have you join us on Good Morning Nigeria. Good morning. I guess this is your first as minister, so congratulations are in order.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. But let's get straight into this conversation. We saw major investment announcements, from fintech expansion to manufacturing. What would you say are the top economic gains from this visit?
So the UK, first of all, thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. The United Kingdom remains a very strategic trading partner for Nigeria. About 65% of capital importation last year came from that particular demographic. And so this state visit is a historic one, as we all know. But what does it mean in terms of economic development for Nigeria? It speaks to job creation, it speaks to expanded market access, it speaks to industrialization, technology transfer. It fits in line with Mr. President's renewed hope agenda, diversification of the economy, and the enhanced trade and investment partnership that we signed with the UK in 2024.
So let's look at the specifics now, because we understand that, there was a signing of 746 million, million pounds financial deal, and which is a major highlight of that historic visit. What immediate impact will this have on Nigeria's economy?
Referring to
Pardon?
the British deal, which one are you referring to?
Yes, the deal, the 746 million pounds.
Yep.
Yes. What economic impact will this have on Nigeria?
Now, you know Nigeria is a trading nation,
Yeah.
and that particular transaction speaks to the reform of our first and oldest port, Apapa Port, Tinkan Island Port. Nigeria continues to lead with trade diversification, so it's important. That port is by far over capacity from when it was built. One of them is almost 100 years old.
That's
the other
the
is
Apapa
about
Port.
40 years old. And so we needed this refurbishment, overhaul, expansion. It's long overdue.
Okay.
Now, what this also signals with the UK export trading facility is that it speaks to investors around the world, showing that Nigeria is investable, open for business. And of course, the more we trade, the more competitive we are, and the more jobs, excuse me, thank you, the more jobs we're able to create. So this fits right in line with our economic agenda, and it also signals to the world that we're investable and that we're open for business.
Now, but on the flip side, what commitments have the British investors made towards job creation, particularly, and industrial growth in Nigeria?
You know, it's not for British investors. It's first of all for domestic investors. Our priority is Nigeria first. So this is about what we need to build our economy. What we need is to have trade facilitation. And so we went after that to expand our trading footprint. Now, you saw also Ovaltine opening a new facility. British investors on their own are coming into the Nigerian market, coming into the economy. We had another, there's a fruit business that works with mangoes, with fresh fruit, and they supply across Europe and the rest of the world. They trade in Nigeria. They are also thinking of a facility. I co-chaired a ministerial roundtable with Sir Chris Bryan. That's my counterpart, the UK Minister of State for Trade. And so businesses are already here, are already looking at how to expand here, and that leads to job creation. But really, this is about the Nigerian economy. It's about Nigerian businesses, investors around the world, particularly UK investors also looking to come into the Nigerian economy, looking to use Nigeria as a launch pad for AFCFTA, looking to make sure that they're not just trading with Nigeria, they're also bringing in facilities and helping us to expand our trade footprint.
Now, you talked about the refurbishment of the Apapa and Tinkan Island port, which is one of the benefits from this historic visit. But what other specific sectors, are we expected to benefit from enhanced trade partnership with the UK?
There was an MOU signed. There's a co-founder, a British business that partnered with Lagos State Ministry of Education to have technology in the classroom. And that was a landmark MOU signed. I witnessed that MOU. There was also the agri-business I spoke about. Then NSIA, that's our Sovereign Wealth Authority, also signed an MOU with a British business that's going into dairy farming at a very large scale. And so those are some of the most concrete and largest deals that we came back with this week.
The SMEs in Nigeria, how do you think they can tap into these opportunities created by this visit?
Yeah, so the Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership, you recall last year, opened about 3,000 products from Nigeria duty-free into the UK market, and from there into the rest of the world. Now, what we focused on is the advocacy. There were advocacy sessions in Lagos and Kano, and we're continuing around the country with our subnational intervention in tandem with our AFCFTA tour that we're taking from Q2 this year. And so we're trying to make sure that businesses are ready, working with the Standards Organization of Nigeria, working with NAFDAC, working with Nigerian Customs Service to make sure that our MSMEs are ready to access the UK market. 3,000 products duty-free, they have to meet the standards for competitiveness, and that's what our job is, to make sure that they're enabled to do that.
Now, bilateral trade already stands at about over £8 billion with the United Kingdom. And I've heard you once say that you got this job because of ease of doing business. And I'm asking, what target has government set post-visit in terms of ease of doing business, which of course encourages investors to come, and then consolidating the gains?
You know that this government is not reactive. We are responsive. We already have a plan that we're instituting. And so it's not like all of a sudden what's going on. These are things that have already been going on. There were technical meetings throughout the week with the British government, our counterparts. So that meeting would have happened anyway. But we timed it to coincide with the state visit to enhance the discussions and the visibility in the UK. But in terms of working on market access, regulatory conditions, trade facilitation. You know, our national single window is going live on Friday on the 27th of March. So these are all the things that the Tinubu administration has been putting in place for Nigerian businesses to access the UK and beyond.
All right, let's give you a briefer, Honorable Minister.
Well, I just wanted to ask about
okay.
the issue of the technology transfer and human capacity building, capacity locally and all that. Were these part of the agreement?
They certainly were, and so that's why I spoke to the MOU on education. That's a technology business working with Lagos State government, where we talk about all the issues, all the businesses coming in. They bring with them their technology, like for instance the dairy farming. That's a very big business. They're opening facilities, entire value chain. That's with the Sovereign Wealth Authority, and that's going to be a game changer also for geographically around the country in terms of dairy farming in Nigeria.
All right, let's give you a deserved rest for a moment and get back to Dr. O'Malley. Now, what risks do you see if these agreements are not followed through?
I think I see a commitment on the part of the Tinubu administration, just like the Honorable Minister have said. I see a serious commitment because if you look at the reforms that the government have been carrying out in critical sectors of the economy in the last 2 to 3 years, it shows that the government is really interested in turning around the Nigerian economy, and that is why they have been focusing on trying to create collaboration and partnership with the international community. So I'm very confident that the government will go the whole hog in trying to implement some of these agreements or deals that have been entered. Just like the Honorable Minister have said, if you look at the ports, some of them, the Tinkan Island and the Apapa port, if you are conversant with Lagos, you can see the congestion, the access route to those ports, the level of man hour that is lost as a result of some container even falling and killing people on that road.
And the turnaround time as well.
Yes. So if you look at, so I think it is very easy. The government will be very.
Dr. O'Malley, I'm sorry I have to put you on hold. I understand that your audio is not quite jiggy at the moment, but don't worry, it will be sorted. While they're at it, we'll just get to the ambassador who's joined us via Zoom from Ibadan. Ambassador, how can Nigeria sustain this momentum beyond the visit? Can you hear me? You have to unmute yourself again. I said, how can Nigeria sustain this momentum, beyond the visit?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. A lot of follow-up mechanism will be required if we're going to sustain this momentum. It's not every day, and presidents don't just move. But when they go, the opportunity, and that will now be left for officials to follow up from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, from the Ministry of Trade, from all MDAs and private sector. What I would propose for us to sustain the momentum, particularly on our own side, is that we need to have a Nigeria-UK delivery unit. And this delivery unit is not going to be just in one agency. All agencies, particularly those who have signed deal now, need to have a delivery unit. I don't know how possible it is. We've been proposing this for a very long time, that when we have a binational or a kind of state visit like this, we need a joint implementation task force, something that looks at our vision, our dreams before such event, and what happened during the event, and what we signed to, what we agreed to implement, and we need timeline. So if we don't have even a joint implementation as sovereign nation, it might be a little bit difficult, but it's not difficult. It's like it's the officials that I need to agree to such joint implementation task force, which is to look at the timeline. You are to do this at this particular time. Is it done? And if it's not done, what is the remedy? Because we need to mitigate against just keeping some of these achievements in the shell. And a lot of money have been committed into this, and a lot of hopes have been raised. So if we don't, look into how to make sure that this is not a waste, we might not get it. So I suggest that at Nigerian level, we need to have a delivery unit. At the Nigeria-UK, we need to have a joint implementation task force. We need to look at the different timeline that we have signed up to, and we need to ensure that this happens. I'm not sure where next this will happen, but sometimes because the event occurs almost very closely, officers move on to the next one and no one looks back. So this is where the challenge is. But I have the Honorable Minister of Trade that great effort will be made at this time because they were all involved in making this happen. Thank you.
That we need to have, specific timelines for the implementation of all these agreements that have been, signed, and that has actually been the challenge that we've been having in this country: the implementation, having the timeline to ensure that they are not just on paperwork, but we can see the impact of it. Maybe you want to respond to that, Honorable Minister.
Yeah, so perhaps because I was in the details of this, the planning of this visit was for quite some time, working with British counterparts. And like I said, the Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership is something that has been going on since 2024. Now, what you witnessed being signed were not prospects. So for instance, the Apapa ports, the work starts this week. Yes, the work starts this week. For NSI with the dairy, they're already in progress.
Okay.
For E-Stars with Lagos State, they're already in progress. So these are not things that are aspirational, as it were. These are actual deals, actual transactions. Ovaltine, that's why there are figures in it. And yeah, I think we should all just focus and concentrate on getting those transactions enabled. Whatever is required in terms of regulatory, a lot has been done already, pre the visit and pre the signings. And so it's now to follow through on aftercare.
Nigerian fintech companies are expanding now in the UK. And I'm wondering, how does this directly benefit Nigerians?
Yeah, so it benefits Nigerians when businesses are able to access capital internationally to grow, to scale. We have e-commerce. It benefits Nigerians because across the world, like for instance, later this week, the WTO Ministerial Conference will be happening in Yaoundé, and we're talking about the e-commerce moratorium, what that does for the tech ecosystem. Just to take a step back and to say that the visit itself wasn't arbitrary. Both governments, my counterpart and I, agreed specific areas that will be focused on. So fintech and financial services in general was one of those. You also had Zenith Bank expanding into Manchester. You had the creative sector. That was a huge one, and catalyzing on that space. And then, of course, agribusiness and some of the other trade facilitation areas. So it was targeted, it was focused, and it's concrete. So yes, there was a lot of pomp and pageantry. It was a beautiful ceremony. The King hosted Mr. President excellently well. The UK government went all out to host us, but a lot of the work was done preparatory. And I commended the UK government, the Nigerian team, led by the High Commissioner Richard Montgomery and his team, and also working with the federal government of Nigeria. This was a very well-organized visit, and it wasn't just about optics. We actually had concrete deliverables, which is why we're able to have this discussion today.
Okay, that's good to note. But while in a room with the investors, what exactly were the things that you heard, and what are the things that you think we need to adjust here at home?
Yeah, so it's more about what we're projecting and how we're opening for business, what we were saying. The administration, the Tinubu administration, has stabilized this economy in the last nearly 3 years now. Our monetary, our fiscal. So the central bank governor was also in town, had sessions. The Minister of Finance was also in town. The Minister of State Finance was also in town. Quite a few counterparts having concrete meetings. We were able to project to the British investors who have also been coming in to the country, and you see that the trade has been moving up. So it's a win-win for both economies. We've heard them wanting to expand and talking about areas where they would want more regulatory opening up and like you said, from ease of doing business. And so those are things that we're already working on. We were also able to showcase 4 playbooks, investor playbooks, that we released at Davos earlier this year. And we focused particularly on the tech one and the creative one, but we also have one for solid minerals. We had one for agriculture, for mining. And so, yeah, we were able to showcase what the economy has to offer UK investors. UK investors were vibrant, they were present. I had a session with Standard Bank. We had British investors asking questions across sectors and really wanting to participate. We were hosted at the Parliament. We had a business roundtable at the Parliament. Nigerian diaspora was also very active in the whole visit. We had a trade envoy, MP Florence Eshilomi, who also hosted us. I was present at several of the events throughout the week. So it was really a visible showcasing of where the Nigerian economy is. The inflection point is clear. Even the toughest critics will admit that things have really stabilized, and now it's about growth, growth, growth. Inflection point.
All right, Honorable Minister, thank you very much. Now, Dr. Omale, what should Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians that is, expect, to feel differently as a result of this visit?
Yeah, I think Nigerians are waiting curiously to see the results, as the Honorable Minister have said. One of the key things that Nigerians are expecting is immediate creation of jobs from the dairy deals, from the port modernization. All these will create a lot of jobs. Even the Overton manufacturing company that is being set up definitely will create some jobs. And in the dairy deal, we're thinking that up to 10,000 jobs are going to be created because we are not going to be relying on imported milk any longer. And many of the cattle that are roaming aimlessly are now going to be harnessed, and the milk are going to be tapped, and then it's going to boost our domestic economy.
And be kinder to the pockets of Nigerians?
Yes. Yes. So yes, it will create, like she said, the value chain. There will be suppliers, there will be marketers, there will be those who are going to be engaged in the production and so on. So it will create job. Another very important thing that these deals are going to put into the economy that Nigerians are going to benefit is in the area of foreign direct investment. We have been, in the economic sector, we have been talking about foreign direct investment and the impact that it will have on the economy. It will reduce the pressure on our foreign exchange. And if you look at even the issue of migration, where the Japa syndrome and all these people going abroad to seek asylum, which we have been grappling with over the years, with this type of visit and what has transpired, we want to maintain the best of our doctors. We want to maintain the best of our nurses, the best of our economists, and so on. Professionals within the country. So with this type of migration deal that have been signed, and if the Nigerian government is committed to it, it will really help the issue of brain drain that have continued to haunt our economy to the benefit of Nigerians.
Okay.
Because we cannot continue training this important sector professionals in the economy, and then we are losing it to other countries. Whatever the issues are, fine. We cannot continue to do that, and it will help boost the economy, and it will be advantageous to the Nigerian people.
Thank you very much, Dr. O'Malley. Let's join Ambassador Akiremi once again. I want to just ask, you were there, you were in London, and from your observation, would you say that Nigeria negotiated from a position of strength in all these agreements?
Oh, certainly we did. And as you know, a lot of work has been done before this ceremony. So it's not that we are really going to start rigorous negotiation during this state visit. The state visit is the height of all visits and is mostly to have the premature of the principal. But I'm privy to some of the activities before the visit, and I know that delegations from both ends were exchanged, and a lot of consideration came to play. Nigeria certainly enter into this visit from position of strength. Strength because we're not just talking in terms of our raw materials. We also have our own comparative advantage that are beyond just agricultural produce. My concern only is that having gone in to do this job, particularly that Mr. President has done, and all the ministers and governors that were there, it is important to have an approach that will educate Nigerians about this so that they can tap into it. Because if they do not take advantage of what the president has labored for, what the ministers have labored for, it is almost going to be half engine. we're not going to have an optimal benefit from it. So certainly we are in position of strength. We negotiated as equals. We were very clear on our aspirations, on our desire, on our goals, things that we wanted to achieve from this visit, and they are all coming to play. But beyond that, because it is not one day, uh, papers have been signed, there is now need for the nitty gritty of it to break it down to ensure that the downtrodden man, the commoner, can feel the impact. Just like the British are interested in this, we should also be equally interested. And I see that this is a major gap. I must congratulate NTA for putting this together. There will be a lot of clarification that will be given to issues. But at the end of every visit like this, there should be an office that will harmonize all of these, that will be telling Nigeria, at least for the next 1 month, because I do not see uh, how uh, we can be able to download all of what has happened in London to an average Nigerian. If we go bit by bit this way, they want to know in security what happened. Honorable ministers told us about creative. The Minister of Culture was there. The Minister of Finance chaired the investment forum. Investment forum a day before Mr. President's arrival. The governor of Plateau was special guest of honor at another special event by Quebec. All of these, they are different agencies. They have their gains. Now, who tells us about all of this? If not, Nigeria will come up and say, oh, so amount was spent on this trip, justify that it was not a jamboree. But if we can tell them, this gain that you are seeing now is aftermath of Mr. President.
We run out of time for this conversation. We've run out of time. But we would like to thank you, Ambassador Akinremi, retired diplomat. It feels a bit strange to say you are a retired diplomat now, but we thank you very much for your time. You joined us from Ibadan via Zoom. Thank you very much for your time. All right, Honorable Minister, just before we let you go, what can we see, say, in the next 6 months that will make this visit really, really feel like a success?
You're going to see the dairy. You're going to see work on Apapa and Tinkan for sure. With a job multiplier for that, it's going to be Nigerians that are going to do that work. So you see that access, the refurbishment. You're going to see about 3 million children in school, Easters in Lagos State, have the benefit of technology. The Ovaltine facility will create, I think, about 100 jobs. Again, that facility will be in Lagos State. You're going to see us moving around the country with advocacy on how MSMEs can tap into the 3,000 duty-free goods that can access UK market. Any good that can meet the standards to access the UK market can access anywhere in the world also, can access the AFCFTA. And so in our element of, that's the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment and Trade Facilitation mandate, that will be one major drive with the agencies, whether from SMEDAN to BOI to NEXIM to NEPC, really pushing and supporting that non-oil exports diversification.
Before we let you go, let me just ask you this last question. This partnership, do you think it will help to address the issue of export diversification challenges?
Certainly. So that's what I was saying, that this is not a reaction. This didn't happen in isolation, and it's well within the remit of the Renewed Hope agenda, item number 7, on non-oil export diversification. And so this visit, all these discussions, the prior, during, and after are all in tandem. And also our larger trade discussions. You saw us last month in Addis, you'll see us in Yaoundé with WTO. All of it fits into the agenda that the administration is pursuing. And so the UK Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership is a critical tool that we're using to achieve our mandate and our goals.
All right, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, we thank you very much for your time and your perspectives.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Adoyimatu Omale, International Affairs Analyst, we also appreciate your time and your contributions to the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and that does it for our first conversation this morning. Well, the next on iDice follows after this break. Please stay with us.